Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, advocates hold a tax day rally in Frankfort, pushing for more gun control, among other issues.
And an 84-year-old man accused of shooting a black teen who mistakenly went to the wrong house turns himself in.
And milder air is on the way into the mountains as we head through this week. The very latest coming up is Mountain News at 5:30. Starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Olivia Calfee. Activists gathered at the state capitol to protest this morning. They were advocating for several different topics.
That included trans rights following the passage of Senate Bill 150. Jeremy Toms was at the Capitol to hear from them.
The 2023 legislative session wrapped up weeks ago at the Capitol, but protesters are continuing to come to Frankfort and make their voices heard on a variety of issues. This time, they've organized a tax day protest.
We are all citizens of Kentucky, so we pay taxes here, and that means that we ask the legislators that speak in our name to use those funds to better our lives, and they're not doing that.
The group was organized by advocates out of Lexington and Louisville, who met in the middle in Frankfort to call for common sense gun laws, reproductive rights, and trans rights.
What do we want? Trans rights! When do we want them? Now!
The protest comes a day after the Kentucky Department of Education released guidance in relation to Senate Bill 150. The KDE can now no longer advise schools on using chosen pronouns, and districts must remove fifth-grade lessons on puberty from their curriculums. Protesters say the new recommendations are dangerous and could even be harmful to trans students.
Not only will that breed a lot of hate and ignorance towards LGBTQ youth, it's really detrimental to their mental health and their physical well-being.
So one of several demands they laid out today is that they want SB 150 overturned. In Frankfort, Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Today's protest ended around 3 this afternoon, but the organizers say they'll continue to show up and speak out on a variety of issues facing the Commonwealth.
More states are joining the effort to break up Google's digital advertising business. Yesterday, 9 more states joined the federal government's antitrust lawsuit against the tech giant. The Justice Department accuses Google of illegally monopolizing the digital advertising market by gobbling up rivals. The DOJ says Google does this through an anti-competitive mergers and by bullying publishers and advertisers into using the company's proprietary products. The lawsuit was filed earlier this year. The initial complaint included California, Colorado, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Tennessee, and Virginia. Google is fighting the suit and has said the complaint attempts to pick winners and losers in a highly competitive market.
An expected trial between Fox News and Dominion Voting Systems was set to get underway today, but it never happened as lawyers for both sides ended up agreeing to a settlement.
CBS's Nicole Skanga is in Washington, D.C. with the new developments.
Lawyers for both sides arrived at the court early Tuesday morning expecting to begin opening arguments. But opening arguments were delayed as both sides negotiated a settlement. Shortly before 4 p.m., Judge Eric Davis brought the jury in and thanked them for their service.
As I was preparing today to give the opening that I never got to give, I was reminded of the hell that the Dominion employees went through and continue to go through to this day. Money is accountability, and we got that today from Fox.
Dominion had been seeking $1.6 billion in damages, saying Fox knowingly aired false claims about their voting machines in order to boost ratings. Fox repeatedly aired claims from then-President Trump's attorneys, saying that Dominion helped rig the 2020 presidential election for Joe Biden.
The judge has already ruled that the statements that were issued by Fox News were in fact false.
But while Fox aired the bogus claims to their audience, internal messages from Fox executives and hosts showed most doubted what they were saying. Fox says the network's coverage of the election was reasonable because the election rigging claims by Trump's lawyers were newsworthy. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, the White House.
Judge Eric Davis praised lawyers on both sides, saying it was the best lawyering he's ever witnessed.
Well, one thing we want to highlight, other than the beautiful weather we've seen today, the potential, at least the elevated potential, for the fire danger outside. Our southeastern Kentucky counties, southwest Virginia counties, and Mingo and Logan counties in West Virginia under a fire weather warning, or you may see it referred to as a red flag warning, through 8 o'clock tonight. That's where the breezes are highest. You see some of those gusts, 20 to 30 miles per hour region-wide. It's just a little drier in the highest elevations. That equals the potential for higher fire danger as we head through the evening hours. Temperatures rather comfortable, 60s and 70s across the Big Sandy. How about mid-70s and even some upper 70s across the Kentucky-Virginia, or the Kentucky-Tennessee border, I should say, as we head through the evening hours. So looking pretty nice as we work through. Your forecast first through the next 12 hours. We peaked already with those highs in the 70s. We fall through the 60s tonight. Not as chilly tonight. We end up in the 40s, upper 40s for overnight lows, though I don't think we're completely done with the frost chances yet. I'll break those down after our showers, of course, in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A well-known pastor across the nation has died.
His family says Dr. Charles Stanley, the former senior pastor at First Baptist Church Atlanta and the founder of In Touch Ministries, died peacefully at his home this morning. He served as senior pastor of First Baptist in Atlanta for more than 50 years. In a statement from In Touch Ministries, it says, quote, Dr. Stanley lived a faithful life of obedience, dedicated to teaching others how to have an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. Now he is receiving the joy of his soul, seeing his Savior face to face. Dr. Charles Stanley was 90.
The 84-year-old man accused of shooting a black teen who mistakenly went to the wrong house in Kansas City, Missouri last week turned himself in to authorities this afternoon and has bonded out of jail.
Earlier, the mother of 16-year-old Ralph Yarl spoke to CBS News, and the honor students' classmates made a huge public showing of their support. CBS's Adriana Diaz reports from Kansas City.
Chanting, "We love you, Ralph," students walked around Staley High School in Kansas City, Missouri Tuesday in a show of support for junior Ralph Yarl. His family says he was shot twice last week after going to the wrong address. He went to Northeast 115th Street instead of Northeast 115th Terrace, 1 block away, to pick up his younger siblings from a friend's house.
It was about 9:45. I was like, Ralph, can you please pick up your brothers for me? Being the kid he said okay.
Yarl's mother, Cleo Nagby, told CBS Mornings her son, who was shot above the eye and in the arm, is continuing to receive medical care at home.
Physically, mornings are hard, but his spirits are in a good place.
The man accused of shooting him, 84-year-old Andrew Lester, is facing 2 felony charges, armed criminal action and first-degree assault. According to the probable cause statement, Lester told police he thought someone was breaking into his house.
I can tell you there was a racial component to the case.
Yarl is an honor student and all-state band member.
No teenager is a perfect teenager, but I'll tell you what Ralph and I will argue about. Ralph and I will argue about, Ralph, can you put the sheet music down and do your English homework? Mom, I don't want to do my English homework because it's boring. That's what we argue about.
His mother says Yale University has asked Yarl to apply to their school twice. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Kansas City, Missouri.
The family and its attorneys are meeting today with prosecutors to find out why Lester was not charged with attempted murder. The shooting has sparked protest, and the house where the incident happened has been vandalized. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, has bouncing from job to job left you with multiple retirement plans? We hear from a financial coach about some of your options.
Plus, we continue to watch a warm-up on the way before the week is out. The very latest coming up after this.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen.